Hello everyone, my name is Allison and today we are going to talk about everything I read in January. Here's the stack. 10 books. 10 books in January, which is, I can't remember the last time I read 10 books in a single month. But anyway, we're going to talk about them. Before we get into the books that I've read, I first wanted to show you and talk to you about the little crafty project I decided to do this year to keep track of my reading and kind of, I don't know, just have something fun to do every time I finish a book. I do dabble in a little bit of crocheting. I am not good, but I like doing it anyway. And I've decided to do a book review scarf based off of like the temperature blankets that some people do, where every day of the year they do a row and the color of the row is based on like the temperature that day. I didn't have enough yarn in my stash to do a blanket because I didn't want to have to buy supplies for this little craft. This is all based on what I already had in my stash, and so I'm doing a scarf, a book review scarf. And the number of rows depends on the number of pages in the book. So for every 100 pages, I'm doing one row. And here's my little sheet with my guide, my color guide. So 1 star DNF is this. It looks very gray on camera, but it's like a denim blue. It's literally called denim blue. So those are 1 star or DNF. 2 star is this red. 3 star is yellow. 4 stars this green, all tangled, and 5 star is this peacocky blue, and then rereads are pink. So yeah, that's my little guide, and let me show you my scarf so far. It's gonna get bigger throughout the year. Here's my scarf. Like I said, I'm not good at crocheting, so don't judge how bad it is, how wonky it is, but see all my reviews. So I had 3 4 stars, 1 2 star, 2 rereads, 3 5 stars, and 1 3 star, which is honestly really good that there was only 1 book that I gave a low rating this year. Well, yeah, technically it's only been one book I've given a low rating this year. Anyway, that's my scarf. It's gonna get bigger throughout the year. I did not intend on making this much progress in the first month, but yeah, I won't show you the back because it's hideous and I haven't weaved in a lot of my things yet. But anyway, yeah, there's my little scarf. I have these to weigh it down a bit. These are just stitch markers that my friend made me, just to weigh it down a bit, because this is Tunisian crochet, I think I'm saying that right, and it kind of curls up a lot when you're working on it, so I wanted to make it so it looked somewhat pretty when I was showing you. And I know I'm pretty sure I'm going in the wrong stitch on the end here, but I'm committed now, so I'm not going to change it. Anyway, that's my scarf. Okay. Alright. Now into the books that I read in January, starting with the book that I started in December. I almost said February. In December. This is my little book review notebook. It's not necessarily made for books, it's just for reviews of anything, but I'm using it for just books. Anyway, we're gonna flip through it so I actually know what I feel about these books. But anyway, first book. Started in December of last year, Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. This was 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of sister stories. I've said it before, but I didn't hate the sisters in this one. I actually really liked them. What were their names? I'm not even going to try and pronounce them. I don't even remember one of them's name. Eva. and Hal. Eva and Hal. I will not try and pronounce their full names because I will get it wrong. But yeah, I really liked this. Yeah, one sister has always kind of longed for magic. The other has always been very athletic, I suppose you could say. Aggressive. But yeah, it's just a really lovely little story with a nice little love story in there too. Yeah, I had a good time. No complaints really. The pacing was a little weird. That's my one complaint. But yeah, 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. On to the next. So the next book was 2 stars because I did not want my second read of the year to be a DNF. I probably should have DNF'd it, but hey, I didn't give it 1 star. It got a 2. There were some promising things about it, just on a whole, it was not my jam. And that was The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. First chapter, I was thinking this was going to be a new favorite. I was really pulled in. I'm really interested. But really, all the characters felt like just cardboard cutouts. Like they didn't feel like real people. Some of their reactions to the things that happened in this book were just really weird and odd. I felt like overly dramatic at times, and then weird and like brushed off at other times, and it was just, I don't know, it was weird. There were too many characters to follow. It fell flat, and there were a couple lines in here that had me rolling my eyes or aggressively frowning at my book. It wasn't my cup of tea. I can understand why some people really loved this. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. On the back, it does mention for readers of like the Midnight Library, and I also did not like the Midnight Library, and I can see why they would put these two together. Both are books written by men about a female character, and I don't want to say men should just stop writing female characters, because I have read good female characters written by men, but put a little more effort into it next time. I know that's a little harsh, but I gave that one 2 stars. I don't remember if I said it or not, and I should have DNF'd it. I know. Alright, next read was a reread. My first reread of the year. Divine Rivals. Still loved it. I put tabs in it this time. Are they important? Probably not. I was just tabbing stuff. But I was rereading this to prepare myself to read this, and I'm glad I did. There was a lot of things I forgot about this, which I didn't think I had, and then it was nice to get stuck with the cliffhanger of this and then just be able to pick this right up and know what happens, because I was devastated during this cliffhanger. But yeah, I don't need to say much about Divine Rivals. I still really loved it. But Ruthless Vows, this was everything I wanted it to be and so much more. I loved that in Divine Rivals, you kind of get like just an inkling of what is going on with the war and everything, and then in here everything gets explained and is just so magical and wonderful. Like there's just like a little touch of magic in the first book, and then there's so much magic and just in the love story and everything, and it was so good. So good. 5 stars. Loved it a lot. Alright, next book. Next book was Feybound by Sarah L. Arifi. I'm sorry, okay? Anyway, yeah. This one I gave 3.5 3.5. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. The writing style wasn't really my cup of tea, and the relationships felt a little, I don't want to say forced, but just rushed. Like, yeah, I don't want to say anything because spoilers, but yeah, I liked it. I liked the world. I liked the magic system. It seemed like just such beautiful, like rich world, and very interesting things going on in it, and I liked the characters enough. I'm still deciding if I'm going to continue in the series or not. I don't know. Yeah, I give it 3.5. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was right there in the middle. Yeah. I liked how I had started out, like, kind of saying what these books were about. One book, I kind of mentioned what it was about, and then I just stopped doing that. Let's see if I continue. I will do it for the next book, I promise. Okay, Once There Were Wolves. I read this for the buzzword read-along this month, which the word, I believe, was just there for January. So yeah, Once There Were Wolves. Yeah. Well, there, and there are the words. But Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. I'm sorry. Yeah. I really loved this. It's about a woman who has this weird neurological thing going on with her. It's very interesting. I don't know if it's a real thing or if it was made up, but it's very interesting. And she works with wolves, and she's trying to bring them into Scotland, and she's getting a lot of pushback from the locals, and a lot of people don't like her or her team, and she's just kind of dealing with it, and then someone ends up dead, and everyone thinks the wolves did it, and she needs to prove that it wasn't the wolves. And there's like a past. She's running from a dark past. Yeah, another book about sisters, which I read a lot of books about sisters this month, even though I don't like books about sisters, but I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. It was just really good. Definitely look up the trigger warnings for this. There are a lot of them, just a heads up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really beautiful and messed up and everything that I enjoy. Really loved it. Alrighty. The next book I read in January. Could you hear that all over the noise of this book? I love a book with this kind of paperback cover, you know, that it's got a bit of texture to it and it's not smooth and shiny. But man, they make a lot of noise when you're touching them. Anyway, next book I read in January was The Just Sad Air. Again, sorry if I said that wrong. By Sarah Hashem. Again, sorry if I said that wrong. This I gave 4.5 stars. It was almost a 5-star, but just some of the history and lore, I suppose, of the world was very confusing to me, and I had a hard time grasping what the heck was going on. But other than that, I loved the writing, and I loved the characters, and it was just a lot of fun. We're following, Sylvia. I keep forgetting the names of the characters. We're following Sylvia, and she's got a secret. And she's kind of hiding from her past a little bit, working as an apothecary's apprentice, and stuff happens and she winds up entered into a tournament for reasons I don't remember. Like I said, a lot of the history and stuff in this completely went over my head. I was confused through most of it, but I was still having a good time. Yeah, and there's a bit of enemies to lovers in here, which was really fun, really well done. Yeah, I can't wait for book 2. I am really excited for this. 4.5 stars. Alright, next book I read was Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I really loved this. I gave it 5 stars. We're following, I believe her name was Esther. Yeah, Esther. And she just wants to be a falconer. She wants, well, what were they called? She is a young falconer, and then she joins the I don't know, some word that I probably won't pronounce, so there's no use in me trying to read it anyway. She basically joins this group of people that train these giant mythical birds to go out and kill monsters for the crown. And yeah, that's basically it. It's a very short book, so if I said anything more, it would be spoilering. It would be spoiling it. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I had a good time. For a while, it was feeling like a solid 4, but like honestly, the last 5 or so pages really pushed it over the edge for me. I really loved it. Beautiful little story. I don't think it needed to be longer. I don't know why people are complaining that it was so short. I think it does everything it intended to do within the 150 pages. Novellas are novellas for a reason. If they're done well, they're amazing. I don't know why people are complaining about how short this was, because I thought it was perfect. Okay, next book. A fun little surprise of a book. That was The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft. Josiah Bancroft, The Hexologists. This was an absolute delight of a time. I had such a good time with this. We're following a husband and wife team. They are known as the Hexologists. The wife is she's kind of like, not, I won't say a wizard because wizards are in this and they're a completely different thing, but she has a little bit of magic up her sleeve. She knows how to make hexes, and yeah, it was just a really good time. They're solving this case for the crown, and a lot of wacky, crazy things happen, and I just had such a great time. I gave it 4 stars only because things about it dragged on a little more than necessary, especially since it's such a short book. Like, this is barely 300 pages, I believe. Yeah, barely 300 pages, and there were moments where it seemed to drag on a bit towards the end, and I was like, okay, wrap it up. Like, things would get wrapped up, and then something else would be revealed, and so they'd have to go, and it was just a little annoying. But other than that, I had such a good time. I absolutely loved Iz and Warren, the married couple. I absolutely loved their dynamic. I thought they were so adorable. Yeah, I can't wait to read on in the story. I certainly will. I'm very interested. I can see why some people would have issues with this. The writing style is weird. There's a couple like paragraphs that are like, I didn't need to know that information, but I had a good time. Like, I don't know, I love something like that where it's like, okay, that TMI, but whatever. Like, you know, I just had a good time. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. Okay, and the final book I read in January, finished last night at like 11:45. Technically still finished it in January. And that was my reread of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I reread this to prepare myself for the next book, Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Worlds, Other Lands. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, I still really loved this. I loved Emily and Wendell. I think I loved them even more this time around than I did the first time around, because this time I was really noticing how similar they are to Howl and Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle, of course. And I was just having a good time. I still loved this. Still gave it 5 stars. There's nothing more I need to say about it. Man, this wrap up has been a mess. But that's okay. All my videos are a mess. Since when am I organized? Never. This was sort of organized, which is shocking. Yeah, that was everything I read in January. I'm going to be reading this month for my reread. Since 2024 is the year of rereads, I'm going to be rereading The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, I think. Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I'm going to be rereading that this month, so I can finally move on with the series and read the next book, or decide not to continue. What else am I going to be reading this month? And the next Emily Wilde book, I will certainly be getting to that this month. I am currently reading Raiders of the Lost Heart by Jo Segura. Rereading this with my best friend, everybody reading it. She's already started. I have yet to start, but I can't wait to get into it. She's really enjoying it, and she is not a romance girly, so I'm hoping I like it too. But yeah, gonna be reading this. Hope it's a good time. I really love Romancing the Stone. And what was that movie with Sandra Bullock and Daniel Radcliffe? The Lost City? I enjoyed that one too, and I'm thinking that's what these vibes are gonna be. Maybe, except they're both archaeologists and not one person is thrown into crazy stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, those are my plans for February. And those were all the books I read in January. 10 books. Really good year. Yeah, year so far, I guess. Really good reading month. Only 1 2-star, 1 3-star, you know, it was all really fantastic. Yeah, and I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you want to. I don't care. Well, I do care. It is appreciated if you do it, but you don't have to. What was your favorite book you read in January? What do you plan on reading in February? What was your least favorite book you read in January? I want the tea. Yeah. I don't know what my next video is going to be. It'll probably be my February wrap-up because I can't think of anything creative and fun to do right now. Maybe it'll be something else. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a reading vlog thrown in there. Maybe I'll become a vlogging girly. Who knows? Probably not, because I film everything on my phone. But anyway, thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you want. Subscribe if you want. Leave a comment if you want. No pressure. I'm really bad at talking to people in real life and online. So, yeah, you don't have to comment, because chances are I'll come off really awkward and weird in the comments. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I'm gonna stop rambling. It's February.